Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and I just gave blood this morning, or I didn't give blood. I had blood drawn for my, 8-month checkup type deal. Boy, do we have a lot of drama in crypto today. This is going to be a good one. In the group, we're going to talk. I got so much, so I got to cover half of it in the group, but the drama is great. You can join by going to daixrp.com to join through the Patreon, or click the join button right here below any of my YouTube videos. If you'd rather join through YouTube, here's some drama. Michael Arrington, Brad Garlinghouse's best friend. I'm a longtime investor and a champion of Coinbase. Something that has to be said though, this hack, which includes home addresses, account balances, will lead to people dying. It probably has already. The human cost, denominated in misery, is much larger than the 400 million or so they think it will actually cost the company to reimburse people. The consequences to companies who do not adequately protect their customer information should include, without limitation, prison time for the executives. This is a strong statement right here. Very disappointed in Coinbase right now. Using the cheapest option for customer service has its price. And Coinbase's customers will bear the cost. DOJ is investigating the customer data theft. Then Ripple put this out. PSA uptake. This is the reason. There's two reasons you're getting all these texts and you're getting phone calls from people that are faking, trying to pretend to be some of these exchanges. One, you had that hack, the customer information theft, but two, there's an anticipation that it's actually a bullish signal, ironically, that these hackers are ramping things up because they know what's coming for these markets. And Ripple's basically saying anytime the market goes up, the scams go up, and they're pointing out a lot of them. Ripple will never ask you to send XRP. Brad, Monica, Dave, Stu, anyone else from Ripple won't either. Avoid clicking suspicious links. Always verify official accounts before engaging. Folks, in these scary times, this is why I'm with Caleb and Brown. I have the one thing that I've never been able to have with any exchange, and this is the one thing that's most important in preventing myself from getting hacked or getting in trouble or having my crypto stolen, and that is I have a person I can talk to. I sleep good at night now. I have specific instructions that I've given my broker. Nothing happens in my account unless you talk to me. And that's the fact, Jack. If you want to open a Caleb and Brown account, who is my affiliate partner, you go to xrpwealth589.com. I created that domain specifically just to forward you to my page on Caleb and Brown. You click sign up today and start sleeping better. XRP, let's see, the market is just kind of flat right now. XRP's at 233. Now, last night, I was actually watching the vote. It was hilarious. I'll show you in a minute. I was watching Senator Warren. She was on the floor trying to talk all of the Democrats into voting against it, and we win again, and Senator Warren loses. Breaking U.S. Senate voted 66-32 to advance its landmark stablecoin legislation, the Genius Act. Now, this doesn't mean the act is passed completely. There's other parts of the process that have to go on. Bill Hagerty, who is I think he's the main good guy behind the whole thing. Tonight, Senate moved forward on the Genius Act. This groundbreaking bipartisan legislation will bring American payment system in the 21st century. Genius Act skyrockets the United States with digital payment framework with the fastest rails possible. It will ensure U.S. dollar dominance. Customers will be protected. The demand for U.S. treasuries will balloon to the tune of more than $1 trillion. Well, if it's going to balloon treasuries to more than the demand for treasuries into the $1 trillion, that same $1 trillion is then in the tokenized economy, is then in the crypto economy. That is liquidity added to the crypto economy, which is now, today it's 3.3 trillion Add 1 trillion just with the stable coins in the U.S. that he's talking about. The innovation in the digital asset space will thrive in the United States going forward. I look forward to making history with my colleagues this week. Caitlin Long says it was hilarious to watch Senator Warren on the Senate floor trying to flip Democrats who were voting yes. Warren was angry. Gillibrand's star just rose on the Democrat Party for whipping these crossover votes, especially without Schumer's support. Last thing, here's a list of the 16 Dems that flipped their votes to yes. So, and I think it was Warnock who voted yes, and then Warren must have flipped him back to a no. Meanwhile, at MIT, there's Gary Gensler. This meme's going around this morning. This is Senator Warren, or Pocahontas, pouting on the congressional floor down there. How it started, how it's going. Elizabeth Warren is building an anti-crypto army. Warren for Senate. And I think her anti-crypto army has been slain. And then Cody Carbone, who will be at XRP Las Vegas. Go get your tickets, xrplasvegas.com. Bipartisanship is alive and well. We call for stablecoin legislation to pass now. We're on the cusp. 17 Democrats joined nearly all Republicans to move the Genius Act forward. Thank you, Senator Haggerty. Senator Lummis was involved. We'll get to her in a minute. Then Chris Giancarlo, who's also coming to XRP Las Vegas. 3 takeaways from last night's Senate vote on the Genius Act. 1, political power of emerging stablecoin crypto industry active in 2024 remains potent in 2025. Senator Warren, who pulled out all the stops to block passage but lost 16 Dems, has waning grip on the obsolete crypto agenda. Senator Haggerty displayed great parliamentary leadership and is rising Senate star. Big win for U.S. innovation, USD, and American prosperity. Then we had this drama yesterday. Brad Garlinghouse heading to D.C. to champion sensible pro-crypto legislation around stablecoins and market structure. And I'm very encouraged to see our elected officials look at crypto as it should be, multi-chain industry. That it can't not be. Folks, are any of these stable coins built on Bitcoin? No. All these stable coins are going to be built on things like the XRP ledger. That's part of just one of the many things that is the stupidity of these Bitcoin maxis. And make no mistake, you have a contingent of Bitcoin maxis that are out there. They want the Bitcoin monopoly to continue. Michael Saylor said it before Trump came along. Michael Saylor, he wanted all other digital assets to be securities. He said there would only be a Bitcoin ETF, and that's who these people are. They are the bad guys that we have left to contend with. And ironically, they're in crypto, but they can't, and I'll explain to you exactly why they know they have to take this position. They have to get Bitcoin some special status with the government. But this is why she's not wanting to meet with Brad. That said, Senator Lummis, as chair of Digital Assets Subcommittee, canceled a meeting with me and won't reschedule. As a leader in Congress and the senator from one of the most crypto-friendly states, Wyoming, I hope you will reconsider and be a leader for all of crypto. I invite you to join me on an X Space anytime or live convo on stage at one of the many events we cross paths at. To talk to you about making U.S. crypto capital of the world. As the goal of the Trump administration, I will continue to do everything possible to support that goal. Cowboy Crypto, as he does, hits a grand slam. He is the official cowboy of the Digital Asset Investor channel, by the way. Hey, Brad Garlinghouse, look into Will Cole, who is Senator Lummis' son-in-law. He's been below reposting Pierre. That's the Pierre Bitcoin Maxi guy. He blocked me a long time ago. He is the head of product at BTC Payments Company and hates seeing Ripple do well. Now we know why Lummis won't meet with you. Her financial contributions are A16Z and her family. Remember, A16Z was right there behind the Ethereum free pass, folks. It all ties together. And her family is deep in Bitcoin conflicts. And here's the Pierre Rashad. He's like a clown. And that's him. And then he's got screenshots about Cynthia, her husband, and da-da-da. I'll show you more in a second. And then here is her open secret, Andreessen Horowitz, Multicoin Capital. Remember, these were the guys from the ETHgate fame who were shorting XRP and bragging about it, and their limited partners were Andreessen Horowitz and Union Square Ventures, the only two VC firms that were in the room when the Ethereum free pass was being discussed. We were right about ETHgate. We've always been right about all this stuff. Then Brad Garlinghouse thanks him. Thanks for this info. It's certainly enlightening that Will Cole is related to Senator Lummis. I understand that things happen in Senator's day that force their schedules to change, but for a congressional staff to say unable to reschedule is really troubling. When we've been unable to meet with her one-on-one in 6 years, we're an American company looking to grow the crypto economy in the U.S. and benefit all Americans. I really have to wonder if this was Senator Lummis or someone on her staff making this decision. And then, thanks to Cowboy Crypto, I went and looked this up. Here's Will Cole, her son-in-law, right here. This is her bio page. Cynthia Lummis Chair, Republican, Wyoming. Son-in-law, Will Cole. This is what her son-in-law, this guy's libeling Ripple all over the place. If I were A16Z or Coinbase, I'd be clawing my money back from Fair Shake Pack and creating as much distance from the frauds at Ripple as possible. Terrible decision in the first place, but could be salvaged. It's amazing to me. I see this all the time. It's amazing to me how people will go on to Twitter and slander and libel people. It's been done to me. It's been done to me 1,000 times. I don't ever talk about this, but if someone like me had a mind to sue people for lying about me, I could destroy them. But these people do it at will. I mean, you don't call people frauds and stuff like that unless you can prove it. And we see it all the time. Even when we were uncovering ETHgate, all we said were things like, this smells bad. There's a lot of smoke rising off of this. We were very careful not to say anything stupid like what her son-in-law is saying. Something about social media makes people think they can say whatever they want, but there are so many people out there that could be the target of lawsuits. In fact, Charles Hoskinson's been suing people who've been claiming that he defrauded people and stuff like that. Be smart out there, kids. Just because you're on social media and you think you're hidden, be careful what you say about people, and be careful about slandering and libeling. It's not smart. And Dom's got it right. Why is a U.S. Senator prioritizing something whose creator is unknown over Made in America crypto? I have nothing against Bitcoin. It's an important part of crypto. And by the way, I don't either. I want Bitcoin. We've said it for years. I want Bitcoin to do well, Ethereum to do well, XRP to do well, but I want them to do well on a level playing field, the real free market. And we haven't had one for years. That's why these Bitcoin people are freaking out, because they know that once utility kicks in, and they don't have any, and when that clicks in, they've got to compete with utility digital assets, and they know that investors will start to realize and go, wait a minute. I have nothing against Bitcoin, but I find it highly irregular and odd. All right, and then we've got this. MicroStrategy being sued is just the beginning. The Bitcoin cartel is finally getting exposed. While Senator Lummis pretends to regulate, she's protecting the biggest digital monopoly in history. XRP doesn't need their approval. It's already solving what Bitcoin never could. I've got a lot more, folks, and I'm going to go through it, but I'll finish with this. I'll show you this video in a second. Let me translate. Bitcoin totally makes sense as long as it has a regulatory monopoly and digital assets with real-world utility are kept in the gray area. Once we get regulation and Bitcoin has to compete for the first time on a level regulatory playing field, the only way it can survive is with some kind of government favoritism. This is why Senator Lummis doesn't want to meet with Brad Garlinghouse. And don't forget, the entire Bitcoin movement pre-Trump was anti-government. They even had a huge picture of a US dollar burning on the wall at Bitcoin Miami. Max Kaiser, who will be on stage with Senator Lummis at Bitcoin Las Vegas, he's torn up US dollars on video. Ripple has worked with regulators from day one. And I'll show you that video in the group if you haven't seen it. Listen to this guy. He's over the target.
What about Bitcoin? What are your thoughts?
I wrestle with Bitcoin. I totally love the idea of it and hate the idea of it. I hate that it doesn't have fundamentals. And also I understand the value of it not having fundamentals. Like when I buy Nike stock, I know that Nike is making shoes that people wear, and I kind of it makes me feel reassured that there's a fundamental reason why this company makes this amount of shoes and this amount of profit and this amount. So there feels like a very good reason to own that asset. Bitcoin is more buyers than sellers. Like it has its value because it's a brand, and I understand that in this new digital economy, being a brand has a value. Being an accepted brand does actually have a value, but as a student of history, there are times in the past where things seemed like such a really good idea until they weren't. Like there have been crashes, things that were once considered like, so for example, the East India Company went down. This Dutch tulip mania, and it's one of these things where it totally makes sense until suddenly the consensus on it flips, and then when that consensus flips, if there's nothing holding it up, so I hold Bitcoin and I have Bitcoin, but it's still something I'm not. If I'm perfectly honest, I still get spidey senses about it, just because of the like.
Let me give you a thought. I think this is how this story ends, folks. I think that the Michael Saylor lawsuit is a canary in the Bitcoin coal mine. Let me ask you a question before we go into the group. And this is the question all the Bitcoin Maxis should be asking. Who was watching that lawsuit get dropped on Michael Saylor? How many of the companies that have been considering putting Bitcoin in their treasuries, how many states, how many countries are staring at that lawsuit going, wait a minute. Wait just a minute. And are they thinking about what their liability is? Because it could happen if all of a sudden that Satoshi Bitcoin wallet starts moving stuff and it comes out who Bitcoin is. What's the liability associated with that for all these people telling people to buy something that they don't even know who created it? And if they do know who created it, which is my theory, I think a lot of them do know who created it, which makes it an even bigger scandal, so they couldn't even admit to it. Okay, we're going to go in DAIXRP.com in the Patreon. If you'd rather join through YouTube, click the join button right below this video. We're going to show more about this whole Senator Lummis problem she and her son-in-law have. There's also more Ripple news. Woo! Boy, it is on like Donkey Kong. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, tell your friends and family. Here we go.